what's going on, guys? Psych guys, back at it again. All right. Heads up, guys. The noise you hear in the background, it's just my doors open here. The rain is crashing on the concrete. Love the sound, love the smell of cool, crisp September rain, just permeating the air. Yeah, good stuff. Always capture that moment if you can. It's very precious, very perceived. All right. Enough about that. Let's go on to this here. This is part two of our topic at hand. It is on the Sophie Long case. Now, this will be the first and the last time I'm going to mention her name. I don't like saying your name. The last one I do is come across as exploiting, trying to profit off of her, especially she's a minor. I even hate putting her name in the title of this video. I do so because I'm a small channel and no one will probably know about this video because I'm a very, very tiny channel, right? It's 2,750, so I suppose like say 100,000 or something like that, different story. I probably did initials or something. I guarantee you this channel will be demonetized. I wish other channels were like me, but they're not. For some reason they like to go ahead and continue to try to profit. I just think that's very immoral and unethical. That's my opinion. But in any sort of situation, I will go ahead and blur her image. If I put a video, I'll make sure I take her image off the clip or anything like that. I probably won't put a video. I'll try to avoid that. So yeah, privacy is very, very utmost important to this channel, to respect the privacy of any sort of individual, especially minors. Minors who can't really consent. They're not even over 18 yet. So who am I? I'm Psych Guy, an adult board-certified adult child psychiatrist. And she's matches of psychiatry and psychology with high energy, high passion, high intensity. Heads up if you guys subscribe to this channel and if you don't see my video posted in a while and you wonder what happened, I'm not going anywhere, okay? So just stick with me, no need to unsubscribe because there'll be a video coming soon, alright? Just means I'm kind of busy at the moment, at the time. So yeah, don't give up, man, because I won't give up, promise. I guess one sentence to describe this channel is that it's a philosophical psychology with a twist of objective intellectualism. How's that? There we go. I just made that up just now. All right. No cue cards, nothing. We're on the fly here. Okay, speaking of which, this video, I'm just rambling here now. This video is on Sophie. And who is she? If you guys are new, don't know that, watch my part one. If you don't want to watch my part one of this video, basically, it's a sad case. She's a girl, a 10-year-old girl, her brothers. They're in the middle of this high conflict custody battle between two sets of parents, and it's been going on. The divorce happened in like 2010, and it's been going on now the past couple of years where mom has got primary custody. She's all this entire time. Dad has a couple of times tried to get custody, but has failed at it. And it seems like just recently, as a last-ditch attempt, is the impression that I'm getting, sort of like as a Hail Mary. He's petitioned the courts one last time. That's the impression again that I'm getting. But it was actually after he got just really riled up and upset because his daughter was visiting him, and the story goes is she disclosed alleged abuse, I should say, at the hands of the mother's boyfriend. Again, this is alleged, and Dad really got, understandably so, really riled up, and he's been always also frustrated. I think also there's been other videos where she's kind of mentioned this and disclosed this, I believe to a CPS caseworker and elsewhere. There's a mention about also during a Zoom call, 4 perpetrators were there and abused her. And by the way, there's been, to this day, no concrete evidence, no concrete evidence, I should say, no receipts, proof. Everything is unsubstantiated, okay? These are just alleged claims. But, Dad understandably was upset and riled up and was believing it. And we all believe his daughter, okay? We don't think that she's maliciously, intentionally creating any of this. The situation is either one of two things. Either there is victimization in the form of sex, abuse, or this victimization of in the effect of parental alienation, coaching, exploitation. So it's one or the other. So either way, it's both damaging in nature. There are no winners here, it's only losers. And the girl is going to be traumatized. She is traumatized, and it's going to be basically, it's going to really, really unfortunately affect her for a good chunk of her life. Unless if we go ahead and take the necessary steps to go ahead and help her out. And it seems like thus far, I'm not that impressed with what's going on in regards to the necessary sort of actions. If anything, right now, because of the father his last attempt going ahead and making, raising his hand.
Sorry I had to jump here. The rain was getting to be too much. It was kind of distracting, to be honest, and the wind was blowing the rain inside. No, but what was I saying? So yeah, to this case right here, it's really polarizing, and I'm gonna try to, again, just as in my last video, just in pretty much all my videos, to be as neutral and objective as possible. But I'll be honest with you, as the days are going by, it's getting harder and harder to do so because one side is just really screaming that it's the more likely right side. I think what happened in the beginning, folks saw the videos on the internet of a little girl screaming about getting SEXABUSE, by mother's boyfriend and not wanting to go over to mother's house as a result, and it understandably fired up a lot of people. Most everyone jumped in with their hearts before their heads, right? Being emotionally invested in this story. It was the biggest topic on the internet. But maybe I'm wrong, but I'm starting to see more and more people talk or take less interest into this story. This could very well be because everything is in limbo. The kids are in dad's house. Next court case is not until October, I believe end of October. But I think it has more to do with folks waking up and realizing about the good possibility of this maybe being a scam. Now, with my channel, I'm not going to directly say if it is or not, though I have my own thoughts about it, dealing with such cases, very, very similar to this one. But I could tell just from looking at, just the overall interest of the story, there's less YouTubers covering it. The dad even tweeted out to celebrities such as Taylor Swift and Donald Trump for help. And these celebrities, you gotta understand, they usually have great PR firms, and if there's a story that will make and promote their clients in a better light that will benefit them, yeah, they'll jump in on it and quickly try to align with it. But on Taylor Swift and likewise Donald Trump's camps, no response. Could it be that they wanted nothing to do with it because the story seemed shady? Maybe. Or maybe it could be that they are very, very busy. Who knows? But then again, this was a national story and captured the hearts of millions of Americans, let alone millions of people around the world. So there were, and a lot of people slowly moving away from dad's side. Now that I can tell, going back to the story being very polarizing, to me, this is a story, this is like a litmus test, okay? To determine concrete thinking versus critical thinking, emotionality versus rationality, reactivity versus proactivity, jumping in versus stepping back. So this case, this story is very popular because of its dichotomous nature. What bothers me about this case, though, is that, this one side, the concrete side, taking a sort of like absolutist, black or white, overgeneralizing, all or nothing type approach. By the way, these are all examples in cognitive behavioral therapy of something called cognitive distortions, which basically in a nutshell are irrational thinking patterns. That's all being exhibited here. They're trying to push this anti-American, almost communist manifesto that they're right because Sophie's right and what she said goes. And if you don't side with the dad, you're not siding with Sophie. Look, as I stated in my last video, no one is against Sophie. No one thinks that she is masterminding, intentionally and or maliciously making this up on her own. But dad's camp of supporters are pushing this notion that she has been SEXABUSED. In fact, even some of them spreading far-fetched rumors and allegations of mom going to jail and mom's boyfriend on the run just to fit their own narrative. When, up to this making of this video, nothing has been substantiated or confirmed. Just all baseless allegations. Mom going to jail? Nope. Mom's boyfriend going on the run? Nope. The four folks in the hotel/motel? Nope. Nothing. And if anything, this mob mentality slash social vigilantism before gathering the facts, this is getting to be highly dangerous with legal professionals already recusing themselves from the case due to threats. It can ruin people's reputations, such as a mother's boyfriend, and follow him for the rest of his life, potentially, right? Someone can even die over this. In fact, there have been cases where people have lost their life, innocent people, right, over something similar to the situation. Perfect example. It happened in Russia just recently. I'll put a link to the story down below, but it involved an innocent dad who was allegedly raped and battered to death by vengeful parents after their daughter lied and said that he had abused her as a joke. Thanks, by the way, to, well, I don't want to name drop because I haven't gotten consent for the shout out. But he or she, I believe it's a he. I can't tell with these usernames. But anyways, this person put out this link in my comment section. So yeah. Okay, all right. And another thing I don't like is the father indirectly disrespecting the boys in blue. These fine men and women work tirelessly, and I'm pretty sure that had they found something substantial, that they would have uncovered it, i.e. the hotel/motel incident with the 4 perpetrators. I'm pretty sure that they reviewed the video security footage and or mother's boyfriend, and if there was something substantial, charges would have already been filed. But no, nothing. Could this all be a facade? Could this all be something that is wasting taxpayers' dollars by utilizing necessary proper services that could be shifted elsewhere? Oh, another thing I forgot to mention is that for some reason, his camp of supporters are trying to separate safety and privacy, arguing that safety is the most important thing, and it trumps everything, and it was the most important thing ever over anything and everything. And yeah, they're right. Safety is absolutely paramount, and I agree. You want to ensure and establish safety first and foremost, being one of the most primitive needs, a sense of safety and security. But you can't separate the two. They're both interconnected. For example, if you don't ensure optimal privacy in an individual, especially someone directly involved in this type of case, especially if you're saying that she was SEXABUSE, then you're only going to expose her to potential safety issues. And the dad's posting up videos, pictures, clips, blasting her all over social media without any censoring, even after he gained primary residence till the next hearing. But still, he and his supporters continue to post her face all over. This is not the most therapeutic approach. If anything, this is going to be detrimental to her overall psychological well-being in the long run. I get it because I've seen folks from a longitudinal standpoint. I know the lingering effects of potential SA, and I know that doing something like what the dad is doing, okay, I get it if you want to show supporters that she is safe and put one picture of her, with a birthday cake, with a birthday, on her birthday, that's fine. But the constant blasting her image, going on the media circuit, putting old photos of her, or clips, that hospital picture of her ankle, her foot, she was just allegedly ABUSED. They're a lot of pedophilic, this is like pedophilic fodder. This is pedophilic fodder. Ever heard of the dark web? Don't you want to protect your child's safety? See, there's a lot of questions. Even though both parents have checkered pasts, I get that. Both sides aren't perfect. I mean, I myself, confession time, I stole a pack of bubblegum when I was a kid. But the focus in the end should be on the girl and her overall psychological makeup and well-being. And there are more and more questions coming out for the father. And the dad has done nothing. I mean, nothing to help out his case. If anything, he's done a lot to hinder it. Look, in his defense, he's absolutely right. The courts a lot of times are set up to favor the mother in custody battles. from the get-go due to its tendency to align with old Freudian maternal favoritistic, I don't think that's even a word, but this is roll with it, favorite leanings with the maternal object being the primary libidinal attachment object of love in utero, nutritional supplementation via placenta, and after birth in vivo with baby infant nestled up to mother's bosom to further promote and enhance the notion of security / attachment / comfort, and or also achieve nutritional comforts through feedings of breastfed. So yeah, basically this antiquated Freudian alliance with mother premise that the courts under the table abide by. So he's right about that. However, according to him, though, he's saying that the mother is a bad fit for the children, that mother's boyfriend is bad news, and allegedly SEXABUSED, his daughter. This is a guy who's basically saying that mother's home environment and mother herself isn't overall, a good fit, fit to be a good primary custodial parent. Then you would think it should be easy for him to successfully build a case to easily win primary custody of his children, right? I mean, mom's the bad girl with bad baggage, right? So why has he been struggling the past many, many years and not been successful at winning custody? Well, I'll tell you why. Courts like people who do whatever it takes to make it happen. This is a guy who has not really shown any sort of drive to win his kids back, at least under my impression. If anything, he's showing that he's like a deadbeat dad mooching and living in an RV on his parents' land. Courts don't want to hear that. They like security and stability in the parental object. That's gonna help get the W. I mean, next thing you know, he took off. You're hearing about him taking off on some weird 8-month out-of-state pilgrimage as if he was some character from Geoffrey Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales. The Dad's Tale, let's call it that, The Dad's Tale. By the way, side note, but do you guys remember in high school having that teacher who hyped The Wife of Bath's Tale, but did so in a negative manner? Like given the strict, firm warning to not read it, implying if you read it, as if it were the most disturbing thing that you'll ever cross in your life. Dude, I got so scared that I never bothered reading it to this day. But yeah, very controversial. Anyways, so go back to this. Okay, yeah. So he goes over for 8 months away from his children on this pilgrimage, right? This trek. No court is going to like that. Not only that, but the little recommendations the court made or the requirements they made for him, he couldn't even follow that. The psychological evaluations or the current gag order, not sure how that's going to win the courts. Unless if maybe the judge is a big fan of Rebels. Homeboy trying to be like James Dean or something. But even James Dean wouldn't do something ridiculous and go against the judge's orders. Next thing you know, the guy's riding around in a limousine, getting out of it. I see some sort of like 2-bit broken down version of Kid Rock. I mean, what is this? I mean, nothing is adding up, and everything he is doing is just shooting himself in the foot, showing that he has absolutely no interest in wanting to win custody. Does he even have a steady job? I mean, courts again want to see some sort of stability. They don't want the nomadic, the nomadic drifter type leeching off his parents' land type. Okay, any sensible person who's trying to win custody should do whatever it takes. Going door to door, taking any sort of job, working at McDonald's, for example. Who cares if he's working along people half his age? Really the main ultimate goal is, just collecting money, saving money so that he can do anything to show that he's trying, taking as many jobs while the stepmother runs the online business so that he can go ahead and present to the courts, show to the courts that he's actually making a valiant effort to show that he can provide for his children or at least try to. But instead he finds out and suspects that his daughter has been SEX, ABUSE, allegedly, okay, right? All right, let's just go and play devil's advocate and let's just say that it's true. Okay, it happened. Why would he take her back then to the wolf's lair and drop her back into her mother's care when his daughter was screaming and telling him and pleading to him and everything around that mother's boyfriend was allegedly molesting her? I mean, if this were my daughter, heads would be rolling. I would contact CPS, I would contact the authorities and tell them, no way in heck am I going to make the drop off. You know, like something like I'll say, you know, like I'm highly concerned. If she can't be with me, then she needs to be in a safe and protected environment, maybe a hospital or anywhere but mom's. End of discussion. I'm really concerned for her safety. I would be more focused on my daughter's safety instead of focused on filming her and her reaction. I mean, maybe he and stepmother were in shock and in autopilot mode and didn't know what to do and were scared that if they were late to make the drop off to mom's, and you know, they would be reported for failure to make the exchange. But they had 3 hours to think about it on the car ride, to talk it over and process this news, to make the necessary phone calls or call people if they were on the fence. I mean, not sure why they would be on the fence. Again, if I had a daughter who was refusing to go to a place where she is allegedly being victimized, not sure about anyone else out there, but I myself would not even entertain the possibility of dropping her off. Unless if maybe I was going to stay with her, like, guess who's going to join you guys for a sleepover? Oh, and also that 3-hour car ride, going back to what I said in part 1, there would be no way for that girl, if she was truly in that acute stage where the threshold was met, where she was in an acute stage of panic and fear and terror after she's had enough, at some point or points during the car ride, she would have made at least one or several strong attempts to jump out of the car, doing anything and everything in her power to avoid the possibility of being stuck in the house of horrors of abuse where the alleged perpetrator is waiting. Oh, and also, when I was speaking about victims of sex abuse in my last video, the majority will lie dormant, will regress, will look distant, hide in the shadows, maybe act out, maybe increase in bedwetting, etc. But the way Sophie acted out in those videos seemed more like an extreme case of victimization, where it just crossed that threshold to no return, point of no return, to sanity, unless if she were in a safe environment. And what happens later is that it's a long road to healing. It's not like a light switch where you can just turn it on and turn it off. Once she is in a safe environment, initially she will continue to appear broken, in her shell, dissociated. But over the weekend, I watched this softball interview where she appeared on camera. Again, not the best type of judgment for dad to appear on camera, but she was on this lame YouTube interview and she appeared fine. She didn't look guarded. She didn't look tense or apprehensive. She was smiling from ear to ear and almost loved being in the spotlight, which, by the way, victims of abuse, they would not even want to be in the spotlight, right? Especially immediately, especially not knowing if maybe their perpetrators could be watching. No, but again, like I said, it's not like a light switch. It's a healing process, and victims are bruised, they're battered, they're hard to get back to baseline in the initial stages, and smiles are rarely seen. Yeah, maybe when dad took that picture on her birthday, sure, she could fake a smile, but when you're starting to hear and see her, and I'm glad, believe me, I'm glad she's happy. I want all children to be happy, let alone everyone on this planet to be happy. But when you start to hear her getting excited about her expensive Taylor Swift cat, these horses dressed in unicorns, she's singing karaoke, she's talking about music, like maybe dad's trying to promote what's called normalization and return to a normal way of living. I get that. But you just can't force it. And even if you try, it would be unsuccessful in someone who has been a victim of sex abuse, at least from what I've seen in my clinical experience. It takes weeks, if not months, if not years, for any sort of healing to occur. And seeing her and her dad's reaction in that interview, it just rubbed me the wrong way that possibly, maybe she was coached instead of sex abuse, maybe he told her to look happy and smile to show to everyone, that she is happy in his home environment. Or maybe simply she just likes it better in dad's home environment. No offense, but out of the two parents, he looks to have more of an unstable, unset, liberal and free type home environment to where there's less structure and maybe less rigid rules and expectations. So maybe she likes that better. Who knows? Oh, and by the way, before I forget, a lot of folks commented about her screams and said that a child that looks like she has been sex abuse, that's what it looks like. Her screams, that's just connected, that's directly a direct correlation. There's just no way around that. Well, guess what? The loudness of those screams, those are screams I've also heard from kids who don't get their way. Those are screams of kids who have been coached. Heck, those are screams of fan kids who are at a boy band concert. So there's no set definition that a type of scream fits a type of suspected child, whether it's a coached child, whether it's an abused child, etc. Oh, and also, before I forget, children are wonderful actors. To anyone saying, no way can she act that way that she was doing in that video. Well, first off, no rational person is saying she was purposely acting as if she were on Zoe 101. It's either sex abuse or coached. It's one or the other. But to anyone bringing up that point of acting, just in case, children are the best actors, you better believe it.
Can you hear the music playing? Can you feel the rhythm swaying? This is the sound of dreams come true, and I can promise you